Well, thanks for joining me again. What I'm going to show you in this video is I've had a couple of people say, they've told me the same thing. I have, this camera, and the problem that I have is I don't know how to use the higher modes, and the only thing that I know how to use is the auto mode. Well, what I am hoping that I can do today is I'm hoping that I can help you get out of the auto mode and help you with using some of the higher modes. Okay, first off, some people have also asked just what am I shooting with. This is a Nikon D3000, and this is a Targus TG D40 battery pack that's also attached. They don't make one, or at least that I know of, that they made one for the D3000, but one for a D40 works. And I was able to pick this up at a really great price. And inside, what is really cool, let's see if I can get it out. Well, anyways, let me set the camera down over here. Don't go away. What is really cool about this is the tray comes out and it has room for 2 batteries, which is also, you get twice the charging time. That doesn't look so good. I'll have to clean the contacts out. It's gotten a little hot right there. But anyways, you get twice the life between charges. I think you can get around 4,000 shots on these 2 batteries. Versus 2,000 shots for one. And of course it just goes back in like this, and it snaps shut. But anyways, enough about the gear itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the aperture priority mode. So I'm going to turn the camera on, and you'll notice that on the wheel here at the top it's got these other modes. Then an M, A, S, P. M stands for manual, A stands for aperture priority, S stands for shutter priority. I have very rarely ever used that mode. I just do not like it really. And there's program mode. I don't really know a lot about the program mode. I think what it is that it chooses the aperture setting and the shutter speed, and the only thing you adjust is the ISO. I think that's how that works, but I don't even use that. I think I've tried a couple of shots with it, but that's about it. But right now you see the dial is set to the A, which is aperture priority. And what that is, that controls the depth of field. And if you notice on some pictures where you'll see something that's close, where the camera itself is focused in on that and everything else in the background is blurred out, well, that's how that's controlled, because the aperture is actually like your iris. It just regulates the amount of light. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set this down again over here, and to gather a better view of how this works, I'm going to switch out the lenses. Make sure it's off. Alright, I went ahead and I'm now hooked up with a 18 to 55 millimeter lens. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm probably going to go at midpoint right here. I'm zoomed in at 35 millimeters. And we are going to turn the camera on. And how you control the depth of the field or its background, you know, to make it blurry or enhance it even more, you will see here on the screen, you'll see F4. That stands for, or that is the actual f-stop rating, or the aperture setting. And the higher the number is, the smaller the opening on the lens. The smaller the number, the wider the lens is open. So at the rating of f4, the lens will be, the opening on the lens will be wider than it would be at f10. So that's how it regulates the depth of field. By letting more light in, it focuses in more on the background. So if you want like a mid background, or better yet, how I should do this is we will go ahead and turn the camera on, and to change the f-stop number is you'll see a plus and minus. You take and press the plus and minus down and you hold it. Then there's a wheel. You spin the wheel. I'm sorry, I have told you wrong. That is for manual mode. Okay. To adjust the, because what you're actually doing there is you're changing the exposure compensation. You don't need to do that. So what we're going to do is, to bring the display back, press the info button. That brings the display back. Then there is a wheel. You spin the wheel and you'll see the numbers going up. F5.6, 6.3, 7.1, F8, F9. You'll see, okay, now the lens opening is wider than at F4 than it is at F9. So if we go all the way back to F4 or F3.8, or yeah, F3.8, which is the maximum opening that this lens will go. And you can go ahead and take a picture. What I do is I go ahead and focus in on something and switch to manual focus, so each picture will be identical. And let me look here. You can look through the lens, you see all of its information there, and you go ahead and snap the picture and you can see the background. Of course, I will go ahead and load these and insert these also so you can see. And you turn the dial, you see F3.8, F4. Okay, now you take one at F4.5. And notice how the lighting, it just changes just a little bit because the shutter speed is regulated by the camera automatically. Now 5.6. And 6, or we will go ahead and we'll go on to F8, F10, and you hear that, that's actually the camera slowing down because the lens opening is getting narrower and narrower. And the last is we will go to F20. And how that works, and you'll notice it too as the background will continue to come in. So that's really what the aperture priority mode is. It regulates the background, or your depth of field, however photographers use it. That is a real good mode to use. A lot of the photographers will use that mode, especially if they're doing weddings, studio photography. You get to enhance the background, you get to enhance the subject. So that's how that works. That is the aperture priority mode. And I hope that you can take this, take that and try that and see how you like it. I think that you will like the aperture priority mode. I use it a lot, outdoors especially. So thanks for watching.